Hey guys, welcome back to Encoding. In today's video, we will create this amazing animated portfolio website using React.js, Tailwind CSS, and Framer Motion. So this is the website we are creating. So when I refresh it, you can see this amazing animation, and when I click on My Story, we scroll down to our About component with the amazing animation. Now scroll down, you will see services component with this amazing shadow effect. Now go down. Here is our work component with this horizontal infinity scrolling. And the last is our contact component with a small footer. And the best part is this website is completely responsive. And in our mobile screens, here is a menu icon. So when we click on it, we will get this amazing animation. So without wasting any time, let's get started. So go to your desktop and create a new folder. Now name it Portfolio Website. Now right click on this folder and open with VS Code. Now we have to install React in our project. So go to Google and search Vite.js and click here on Getting Started and scroll down. Now we have to copy this command and paste in our VS Code terminal. So here we have to just paste it and press enter. Now we have to set project name Portfolio Website. Now select React and select JavaScript. Now we have to run these three commands. So simply copy the first command and paste over here and press enter. Now npm I and install is same things you can write according to you. Now it will take some minutes. Our project is installed and here we get our folder structure. So now we have to run this project npm run dev. Now control plus click. Now this is our sample project. So here we have to remove unnecessary files from our code. So in src folder, inside this assets folder, we don't need this svg file. So delete this. And here inside our public folder, we don't need this svg file. So delete it. And inside our index.css, we don't need this code. So remove it. And in our app.css file, we don't need this file, so simply delete this one. And in our app.jsx file, we don't need this code, instead we write RAFCE. If this snippet is not working for you, you have to install an extension. So click here and install this extension. This will enable React snippets for your projects. So close this, and here in our HTML file, we have to remove this and set a title, animated portfolio website. And here all the unnecessary things are removed, and here is our title, and this Vite.js logo also removed. Now we have to install Tailwind CSS, so search Tailwind CSS and click on this install Tailwind CSS with white, and here we have to just copy this command and inside our portfolio website folder, open in integrated terminal and paste it over here and press enter. Now it will take some seconds to install this. So here our tailwind.config file is created. So double click on it. We have to just remove this code and copy this one and paste it over here, and again go to Tailwind CSS and copy this code, and inside our index.css file we have to paste this code. So now all the things are done and we have to run our project again. So now control click and here is our project. Now we have to check the Tailwind CSS is working, so go to app.jsx file and here create a h1 heading and write here some text, I run coding, and here write class name, give it text color, we can set a temporary color to red, and here our Tailwind CSS is working fine. So now we can start writing our code. So close this terminal. So firstly we have to create components for our project like Navbar, home, about and many more things. So here in our src folder we have to create a folder components, Inside the components folder, we can create a file navbar.jsx. After that, we will create a file hero.jsx. We need one more file about.jsx. After that, we need one more file which is services.jsx. We need two more files like work.jsx and the last one is contact.jsx. So firstly we will write code for our navbar.jsx. So here write RAFCE. Inside this div we have to create another div, and inside this div we will create another div, and inside this div we will create a span tag and write a text here iron. We need one more span tag, so simply copy this and change this text to coding. After this iron coding div, we create one more div which is for our menu. So here we can create a unordered list. Inside this unordered list, we will create li items. First will be about. We need three more, so 1, 2, 3, and change this text to services, and this one is work, and the last one is contact. After this unordered list, after this div, create a anchor tag which is work as a button. So here we can set a text as download CV. So let's check our basic structure. So here nothing shown here as we have not mounted our component in our app.jsx. So remove this line, and here we have to import our navbar. So here we have to just mount it like this. So here it is showing iron coding and for menu items, and the last is button. So now let's style it. So for this div, set class name. It is a container with margin from x-axis will be auto, and it is hidden, but for medium display it will be a flex, and justify will be between, and items will be center with padding from y-axis which is 6. Give some space here. And for this div which is our logo, so right here class name, we can set text size to XL, and text size for large screens will be 2XL, so right here 2XL, and font will be bold with flex, and items gonna be center with some gap of 1. So we can check. Now it's looking like this. So for this pen tag, give some class name. We can set its color to white, and for this coding span we can set text color to purple of 500. So here it is. I can open these two windows in one frame like this. Now in app.jsx we can set background color. So right here class name bg will be hash code 0e0c1e, and in our navbar we have to style our unordered list. Set class name hidden, but for medium display it will be flex. I am writing here hidden because we don't need this component in this smaller display, as we will create another menu for our smaller screens and different menu for our larger and medium screens. So after this, items will be center. We can set space from x-axis which can be 6. We can set list style to none, set size for larger screen which will be large, and for medium display the size will be base. We can set a text color to white as it is not appearing. So here it is. We can set some hover effects here, so we will set them later. And for this anchor tag we can set some class name. We can set medium display text size, which will be base, and for larger screen we can set text to large. Firstly, we can set its size for medium display, which will be base, and for larger screen we can set text will be large. We can also set its background to look it like a button, so it gonna be purple 500, and set a hover effect for our background, which can be purple of 400, like this. And here we can set text color to white and give some padding from x-axis, which can be 4, padding from y-axis will be 2, and with rounded borders, so right here rounded full, like this. Now it's looking amazing. So our navbar for larger and medium screen is complete. Now we have to create navbar for these smaller displays. So here here after this div we have to create another div, and inside this div we will create another div. Now inside this div we have to create another div. Now inside this third div we have to create another div. So inside this div we need two icons, which is a menu icon and a close menu icon. So we will use React icon for these icons. So search here React icons and simply go to this website and scroll down and just copy this command, and we have to paste this command in our terminal. So paste it over here and press enter. So now it is installed. So run our project again, control click, and here it is. So now close our terminal and go back to the React icon. So now we have to search icons here. First icon will be our menu icon. We use this one. So simply copy this import statement and paste it over here. So now close this and search for our second icon, which is close. So we will use this icon. So simply copy this icon, import statement, and paste it here. So now close this tab. So over here we will create a useState. So const and here menu, and the setter function will be setMenu equal to useState. The initial value will be false, and here inside this div we write some JavaScript here. So if our menu is outline, otherwise we will use our IO sharp icon. So now give it some class name. So here class name, padding from x-axis will be 7 and padding from y-axis will be 6. Now here write class name, it is a flex, and for medium display it will be hidden, and justify will be between. And here set class name, background will be white, and width will be 2 of 3, which will be for screen, and text will be black. We create a fixed menu and z axis will be 10. So here it is our icon. So increase its size. Here write size will be 30. Similarly for this icon, size will be 30. Now when we click on this, it is not changing. So here we will write on click method. So we use arrow function, and we will use our useState setter function, and again if our prev, otherwise we will use opposite of prev. So here when we click on it, it changes to this icon, and we again click on this, it will change to cross icon. So now it is working fine. So after that, when we click on this menu icon, we want our menu items. So here we need again these list item. So again we have to use same things. So we can create a array here. So right here constant items and pass some values in our array. So write curly braces, the id of our first item is 1 and we use text about. Similarly, we want 3 more, 1, 2, 3, and here give different IDs 2, 3 and 4 and change the text to services. The other one is work and the last one is contact. So here our array is complete, and here inside our unordered list we can remove this and write some JavaScript. So here we will use items with our map function. Inside our map function we will use arrow function and we will map list items. Inside the list items we will map our text, and now we have to pass two values. First will be key. For key we will use different IDs. So here ID. Now we have to pass ID and text in our map function. So here id comma text and wrap these two parameter inside curly braces. As this menu items is for our medium and larger desktop screens, so here it is. So we can just refresh it and it is good. Now we can use these menus with just one thing, which is this. We can copy this, and here again we have to write some JavaScript. So we use menu, and inside this we create another div, and inside this div we create a unordered list, and inside this unordered list we will use this same thing. So just copy this and paste it over here. So here when I click on this, our menu is appear. I have a mistake here. We have to just cut it and paste it over here, and here we can use our AI outline menu. So now when we click on this menu icon, I got my list items, and when I close this it will be closed. So after this unordered list I need a anchor tag download CV, and here I can give some class names. Text will be large, background color will be purple of 500, and I can set a hover effect on it. Background will be purple but this time 400. Text color can be white, and padding from x-axis is 4 and padding from y-axis is 2, with margin from top is 6, and its border will be rounded off full. So when we click on it, our button is here. Now give some class names here. Inside this div, give some class name. It is a flex with flex colon. Justify will be center, and items are also center. Now for this unordered list, write class name. Space from y-axis will be 6, and text color will be black, and text size will be large. Now give some class name to our list items class name. We can give it a hover effect. Text color to purple of 500, and we set a duration to make it more attractive of 200 millisecond, and cursor will be pointer. So now check it. Yeah, it's looking good. Now this side we need a iron coding logo here. So after this div we can create another div. Inside this div we have to create span tags. First will be iron, and we need one more, and the text will be coding. Now give some class name here. Text size will be XL and font will be bold. It is a flex with items center. Gap will be 2, and padding from y-axis will be 6. Padding from x-axis is 4, and here we can set class name. Text color will be white, and for this class name will be text purple of 500. Now here we need this type of animation like this. This animation is created by Framer Motion, so we will use Framer Motion in our project. So simply search Framer Motion. Actually, Framer Motion is now motion, as they mentioned here. Framer Motion is now motion. So click on Quick Start and here select React. Now we have to just copy this and in our terminal we have to paste this command and we have to just install this. Now motion is installed in our project. Now we have to just import some statements. So import curly braces. We have to import motion from motion slash react. Here you can see. Now for this kind of circle we have to create a variables. So here constant variance. Now inside this we pass a parameter open and curly braces. For this circular shape we will use clip path. Clip path will be circle with position 1200 px at 43 px 43 px. This 43 px means 43 px from here, 43 px from here, comma, and second thing will be transition. We select a type. Type will be spring, so we can achieve this type of animation. After the transition, we use second thing which is closed, curly braces, and we use same thing which is clip art. But this time we need different shape, so I am setting it to 25 px and I am changing its position to 43 px and 37 px. You can set according to your need. And the second thing for close, I choose transition. First I set type. Type will be spring and we can choose duration. Duration will be 1. Now we will use this constant in our code. So here we have to give animation. So change this div to motion.div. Let me open this window and here we have to also make it motion.div. And here now we have an attribute from our framer motion which is animate. We can set our menu to open if it is not, otherwise we will use closed. Now we have to change this div to motion.div. Similarly here motion.div. And here we use variants and in variants we pass our variable variants. Now here you can see our animation is working. Actually this is full screen size. We have not add components here, that's why it is not showing properly. So in our hero section I add some class name to make a rectangular shape. So in app.jsx file, if we use this 3 to 3 times, here you can see our animation working properly. Here we need capital letters, so in navbar at here we can write iron coding. We can also give animation to this heading, as it is coming from this direction. We can set this to coming from this direction from our right side. So here we have to convert this div to motion.div. Similarly here motion.div. And here we use a attribute initial which define its initial animation. So here we use opacity. Opacity will be 0 for initial and its direction from x is 100 and from y its direction will be -100. Now we give it a second property animate. We can set its final opacity to 1 and its direction from x-axis will be 0 and from y is 0. Now we can give some transition to make it smooth. In transition we can give it a duration. Duration will be 0.5. So here when we refresh it, it coming from this direction and looking good. And so for our desktop navbar we can give some animation that it's coming from top. So here for this div we can convert it to motion.div. Here this div will be motion.div And here we can use the property initially its opacity is 0 and from y-axis it will be minus 100. Now its final state will be animate in which opacity will be 1 and its direction from y-axis will be 0. Now when we refresh it, it coming from upper side. So now we can give it a transition to make it more smooth. So duration will be 0.5. Now refresh it. Now it's looking good. So our navbar is completed. Now coming to our next component, which is hero section. So open VS Code. So first of all, remove these class names, and in our app.jsx mention only one component here, and in our index.css file we have to give some styling to our body, so like this. Now our background color is set properly. So going to our hero component, and here we can start code. So firstly, inside this div we have to create image tag. After the image tag we create another div, and inside this div we create a h1 heading, and we can write a text here. After this h1 heading, we create a span tag and write a text here. Now after this span tag, we have to create a paragraph tag, and we can write a paragraph here. After the paragraph tag, create a button. The button text will be hire me. Actually we need one more button here, and the text for our second button, my story. Now our HTML code is complete for our hero section. Now we have to style it. So for our first div, we give it a class name. We can set text to white, and padding from y-axis will be 10. Now for our image tag, class name, margin from x-axis will be auto, and width will be 2 by 3, and for medium display width will be 1 by 3, but for larger screens width will be 1 by 4. Now we need a image, so I have some assets here. These we can just copy these assets and click here and right click on assets folder and reveal in file explorer. So open this folder and paste that assets here. Now close this. Now we have assets here. So firstly we have to import avatar from. Now select your image path, assets slash hero 2. Now here src curly braces avatar. Now here inside this div write class name, make it a container, and set margin from x-axis auto, give its text to center. Now for our h1 heading, class name, set its size to 4 pixel, but for medium display text will be 5 pixel, and it is a flex with a flex colon, and gap will be for font bold. Margin from bottom will be 4. Now for our span tag, write class name, set a text color to purple of 500. Here we want this span tag. Here the span tag text is not proper, so actually we need this text here. So simply cut this h1 and wrap to span tag like this. Now it's good. And for our paragraph tag class name, set its color to gray of 400, and the text will be large with margin from bottom 8. Now for our buttons, set class name, set its background to purple of 500, and set a text color to white. Padding from x-axis is 6 and padding from y-axis is 3 with rounded corners, so rounded will be full. Now it's good. And for our second button, text color will be white, and border color will be white with padding from x-axis is 6 and padding from y-axis is 3 with rounded full. Here we have to remove this D. Now it's good. Here we want some gap, so here create a div and wrap our buttons inside this div. Now here give some class name. It is a flex with justify center. Pace from x-axis will be 4 and margin from bottom will be 10. Now it's good. Now our hero section design is complete. Now we have to give some animation. So for animation, first of all, we have to import motion from motion slash react. Firstly give some animation to this image. So right here motion dot image, and here we set initial value. Initially opacity will be 0 and scale will be 0, and write animate. Here now opacity will be 1 and scale is also 1. Now give some transition. In transition we can set some delay. Delay will be 0.5 second, and we can set duration. Duration will also 0.5 second. Now when we refresh it, it look like this. Now for this div, write motion.div. Also write here motion.div. Now coming here, we have to set initial value. Initially its opacity will be 0, and the second thing is animate. In animate opacity will be 1. We can set a transition. In transition we can set duration. Duration will be 0.5 second. Now give some animation to our h1 heading. So write here motion dot h1, and similarly here. Now set h1 initial value. Its initial value will be opposite with 1 and its y direction will 100. Now animate. In animate opacity will be 1 and y will be 0. Now give some transition here. In transition we can set some delay. Delay will be 1 and can set some duration. Duration will be 0.5 second. Now refresh it. It is not proper, so here we have to set it 0. So now refresh it. Now it's good. Now for our span tag, write motion dot span. Similarly here motion dot span. Now initially opacity will be 0 and its y will be 100. Actually we need same these two things here, so simply paste it, and we can increase some delay to 0.1. Now coming to our paragraph, so here write motion dot paragraph. Similarly here motion dot paragraph. Similarly we need these same styling, so copy this and paste over here and increase some delay 0.2. Now coming to buttons, write motion dot button. Similarly here, and similarly for this button motion dot button. Now here set initial values. Initially opacity will be 0 and this time its x-axis will be -100 and animate values. Now opacity will be 1 and x will be 0. Now coming to the transition, delay will be 1.5 and add some duration. Duration will be 0.5. Now we can copy this and paste for our second button, and here we have to just make it positive. So when we refresh it, we have this cool animation. So now our hero component is also completed. Now coming to our about section. So hello. so now so now RAFCE and go to our app.jsx file, and here we have to mount our about component. Now it is mounted. Now back to our about.jsx. Here create another div. Inside this div create a h2 heading and write a text here about me. After this h2 heading we need a paragraph tag. Inside this paragraph tag we have to write a text. After the paragraph tag create another div. Inside this div create another div, and in this div create a image tag. Now after this div, create a paragraph tag and write a paragraph here. Now after this div, we have to create another div. Inside this div, we create another div, and in this div, first of all, we create a S3 heading 5 plus. After the S3 heading, we create a paragraph tag and write a text here, years of design experience. Now we need this div two more times. Now set. Now change this S3 headings. Here we can write 50 plus and change this paragraph to overall global customers, and here 90 plus projects I have made. Now our HTML structure is complete for our about section. So now we have to give some styling. So for first div, write class name. We can set text color to white and padding from y-axis will be 16. And for our this div, write class name. It is a container with the margin from x-axis will be auto and padding from x-axis is 4 with text center. Now for this S2 heading, class name, first thing will be text size, which will be 3XL, but for medium display, text size will be 4XL. Font can be bold, with margin from bottom is 8 and we can give it a underline here. Now for this paragraph tag, write class name, margin from bottom is 12, text color will be gray of 400 and its direction will be center. And for this div, write class name. First of all, it is a flex with flex direction colon, and for medium display it will be a flex row. Justify will be center with items center. Now for this div, write class name. First of all, margin will be 8, but for medium display margin will be 0, and for medium display margin from right side will be 8 and it is a flex with justify center. Here it is. Now we have to give a image, so src. Now we have to import image, so here import about image from, write your image path assets slash about image, and here we can use this image about image. Here is our image and here we can give it some class names. First of all, its width will be 2 slash 3 and for small displays its width will be 1 by 2, but for medium display its width will be 10 by 12. Now let's check it. Here our text is not bold properly, so here we have a spelling error, so now it's good. And image size is good for smaller display, but for medium display and large display it is not proper, so here we can adjust it. So here this paragraph text is taking more space, that's why our image size is not proper. So here when we give some class name it will adjust automatically. So here for medium display width will be 1 slash 2. Now it is proper, and we can set a text color to gray of 400 and padding from x-axis will be 4, and for medium display padding from x-axis is 0, text size will be base, and for smaller screens text size will be large. Similarly for medium display text size will be XL. Now it's good. Now inside this div, give some class name. It is a flex with the flex direction colon, and for smaller screens it is a flex row with a justify around, and items will be center. Margin from top is 12 with space from y-axis is 6, but for smaller displays space from y-axis will be 0. And for this div, write class name, text can be center. And for this S3 heading, write class name. Now give it size of 3XL, and for medium display, text size will be 8XL. Give it some thickness, so font will be bold. For medium display, margin from y-axis is 6 and the text color is purple of 500. And for this paragraph tag, write class name. Text size will be small, and for smaller screen, text size will be beige. We can set a text color to gray of 300 like this. Now we need same styling in these two elements. So here we can just copy this class name and paste here. Similarly, we can paste it over here. Now for the paragraph tags, copy this class name and paste in this paragraph and in this paragraph. Now it's proper, but we need this in rows, not in column. So here we have to map our all elements inside this div. So now it's proper, and we can remove these unnecessary divs from here. Now all the things are working fine. We can check screen size. Now it's good. Actually this text is a bit longer, so adjust this text. So here we can short it. Now it's good. Now we can give some animation to our about component. So here, first of all we have to import motion from motion/react. Firstly give some animation to this heading. So here we can write motion.h2. Similarly for this one motion.h2, and here we set its initial value. We can set opacity to 0 and y will be 100. Similarly animate, here opacity will be 1 and y will be 0, and give a transition here. First thing is delay. Delay will be 0.3 with some duration of 0.5 second. Actually we want one thing, that when we scroll down to this component then visible. So here we need one thing, react intersection observer. So here click this one and copy this command, and in our terminal we have to paste this command and install this. Now it has been installed. Now here we have to import use in view from react observe. Now here create a constant. We have to pass two things here. First is ref and the second is in view, and is equal to use in view, and inside it we pass two values. First value will be trigger once. Trigger once will be true. It means animation can re-trigger when scrolling, but when we make it true, so the animation will trigger only once. And the second value is threshold, and threshold will be 0.2. It will enable 20% of component visible. So here we use ref with ref, and here we use in view. If in view is opacity 1 with y 0, otherwise we will use empty. You can see our about me heading is not showing here, but when we scroll down it will show. And here our delay spelling is wrong, so correct it. Now it's good. Now we need animation in our paragraph tag, so convert it to motion.paragraph. Similarly at ending, motion.paragraph. And here we need same animation, so copy it and paste it over here and increase the delay to 0.5. Now when we refresh it, it look like this. And here for this div, make it motion.div. Similarly at ending, motion.div. And here again we need same styling, but now we want x direction, which will be -100, and here we want x, and we can increase the delay to 0.6 second. Now refresh it. Now it's coming from the left direction. Now for this paragraph tag, here we can convert it to motion.paragraph. Similarly at ending motion.paragraph, and again here we want this same styling. Simply copy it and paste it over here and change it to positive and refresh it. Now it's coming from right direction. Now coming to these three elements, here we can write motion.div. Similarly at ending, and here we can use same styling, but this time here we don't need this direction, and similarly here, and here we can increase the delay to 1.2 second and we can decrease the duration to 0.3 second. Now refresh it. We can also give animation to this paragraph. So here convert it to motion dot paragraph. Similarly at ending motion dot paragraph, and here we use same styling. So this time we use y with positive value, and we can change the x to y here and increase the delay to 1.7 seconds. Now refresh it. Now it's good. Now for these two elements we need same styling, so we can copy this one, and here we can convert this div to motion.div. Similarly at ending, and here we can use that animations. We need to just change the delay to 1.4 seconds, and here for our paragraph convert it to motion.paragraph. Similarly at ending, and here we can use this animation, so copy it and paste it over here and change the duration to 1.8 and change the delay to 1.8 seconds. Now coming to our last element, convert this div to motion.div. So again here we need same animation, and we have to just increase the delay to 1.6, and for our paragraph tag convert it to motion.paragraph. Similarly here, and here we use this animation, so copy it and paste it over here and increase the delay to 1.9. So now we can refresh it and it look amazing. So finally our about component is also complete. Now we have to start our third component, which is services.jsx. So right here RAFCE and go to app.jsx, and here we have to mount services component. Now go back to your services.jsx file. First of all, inside this div we have to create another div. Now we need a S2 heading, services. Now we need a paragraph tag, and inside this we can write a text. Now after the paragraph tag we create another div. Inside this div we create this type of boxes. So you can see that we are using same boxes again and again, so we can create a array. So here write constant and name it services data. Inside it we can create multiple datas. So first thing will be a title. Title will be app design, and the second thing is description, and we need a text here, so this text. Now we need 6 boxes, so we can just simply copy this 5 times more. 1 2 3 4 5. Now here we use this data. Inside this div we write javascript services data. We use map function and create a arrow function. Inside the arrow function we create a div. Now in our map function we pass two parameters. First will be service and the second will index, and here we pass a key will be index. Now inside our div we need an icon, so here we can import fa app store from React icons /fa. So here we can use this icon FA App Store, and we need a S3 heading, and here we use service.title, and here you can see our title, and after the S3 heading we can use paragraph tag, and we use here service.description, and here you can see it. So our HTML structure is complete. So now we have to give some styling to make it more attractive. So first of all, here we give some class name. We can set text color to white. Padding from y-axis will be 16. Now for this div, write class name. It is a container with margin from x-axis is auto and padding from x-axis is 4 with text center. Now for our h2 heading, write class name. We can set its size to 3XL, but for medium display we can set text size to 4XL. Font will be bold with a underline and the margin from bottom is 8. And for this paragraph, write class name. First of all, set margin from bottom is 12 and give it a color gray of 400. And for our boxes div, we can set a class name. It is a grid with grid colon of 1, and for smaller displays grid will be colon of 2, and for larger screens grid will be colon of 3, and we can give some gap 8. Now for this div we can give some class names. Give it a background. Now for its corner it will be rounded of large, and padding will be 6 and text will be center. Now give it a hover effect. In hover we can give it shadow of large, and we can also give a hover effect for shadow color, which is purple of 500. Now like this. And in transition we can give some shadow with a duration of 300. Now it's amazing. Now for our icon class name, we can give it a color purple of 500 and increase its size to text for XL. But for smaller screens, text will be 5XL, and for larger display, text will be 6XL, and margin from bottom is 4 and margin from x-axis will be auto. Now for our S3 heading class name, text will be large. For smaller displays, text size will be XL, and for larger screens text size will be 2XL, and it is a font of semi-bold, and the margin from bottom is 2. Now for our paragraph tag class name, we can set text size to small, and for smaller screen text size will be base, but for larger display text size will be large. We can give it a color of gray of 400. Now we have to give some animation to our services component. So first of all we have to import motion slash react, and the second thing we have to import is use in view from react intersection observer. Now our services data, here we can create a constant. We can copy this thing from our about component, so copy it and paste it over here. Now convert this div to motion.div. Similarly at its ending, now here give ref, set its initial state, opacity will be 0 and its y direction will be 50. Now the second thing is animate. We use InView here. If InView is have opacity of 1 with y0, otherwise we use empty. Now give it a transition. First of all, set a duration of 0.5 second. Now for this div, convert it to motion.div. Similarly, its ending motion.div. And here we use same type of animation, so copy it and paste it over here. Here we don't need y, we need scale. In initial, scale will be 0.8 and in final animate, scale will be 1, and otherwise we will use this. And in our transition we add some delay. In delay we use index from our map function and multiply it by 0.2 second of delay, so the every box will appear after 0.2 seconds, so check it like this. So our services component is completed and looking amazing. We can check it and it's amazing. Now proceed to our next component, which is work.jsx. So again RAFCE and go to app.jsx, and here we have to mount it work. Now go back to work.jsx, and here we can start writing our code. First of all, create a div inside this div. Now inside this div, create a s2 heading, my work. Now create a paragraph tag. Inside the paragraph tag, write a text. After this paragraph tag, we create another div. Now inside this div, we have to create three boxes like this one, like these three boxes. So we create a constant. So go here and here we create a constant. Now we have to create arrays, so give it a name projects. Now inside this we create multiple datas. First we'll have id will be 1, and a title will be anything you want, and a description. In description you can write a text. Now after the description we need a image, so now we have to import some images. So here we import some images, project 1 from dot slash assets slash project 1. Similarly we need two more images, so here we name it to project 2 and here project 3, and also we have to change our image, so slash project 2. Similarly here project 3, and here in our first data we will use our first image project 1. After the image we write a link. You can mention any link as you want. Now after our first data we need two more datas, as we have two boxes, so 1 and 2, and change the IDs. Here I write 11, so here 1, here 2, and here 3, and here we use image 2, and here we use third image project 3. We can also change the title like app dashboard, and here we can write any text like I am writing easy rent. Now here we use these datas, so now write JavaScript, and here we use projects array with our map function. Inside our map function we create a arrow function, and inside our arrow function we create a div, and here we pass project. Now for this div we pass some attributes to use our map function. So first thing, we need a key. In key we use project.id. Now inside this div we create a image tag. Now for image we use src, and we use project.image. Here you can see our three images are showing. After the image we create another div. Now inside this div we create a s2 heading. Now inside this div we create a s3 heading. and we use project dot title, and after the S3 heading we create a paragraph tag, and inside it we use project dot description, and after the paragraph tag we use a button details. Now our HTML structure is complete and we have to give some class names to style it. So here for our first div we write class name and we give a padding from y-axis is 12, and for this div we write class name. First of all we give it a max width of 7 XL, and we can give margin from x-axis auto with padding from x-axis is 4, but for smaller screens padding from x-axis is 6, but for the larger screens we use padding from x-axis is 8. Now for this h2 heading we write class name and set it text to 4XL with a text of a white color. We can also add an underline here. Now here we can make it bold with text center, and margin from bottom is 12. Now for our paragraph, write class name, margin from bottom is 12, and we can set its color to gray of 400, and the text will be center. Now for our boxes div, write class name, it is a grid with grid colon 1, and for smaller screens it is a grid with colon 2, and for medium screens grid will be colon 3 and the gap will be 8. Now it's good, and here after the key write class name, give it a background color of gray 900. Also give it a shadow of large, and the rounded will also large. Now set overflow to hidden, and for our image write class name, width will be full and height will be 48 with object cover, and for our text div write class name, we use padding 6, and for our S3 heading write class name, text will be XL with the text color white, and font will be semi bold with margin from bottom 2, and for our paragraph tag class name, text color will be slate of 400 with margin from bottom is 4, and for our detail button, this button, give some class names. First we set its border to 2, and the border color will be purple of 500, and the text color is also purple of 500, and padding from x-axis is 4 and padding from y-axis is 2 with rounded corners which will be full. Give it a hover effect with background purple of 500. Now give a hover effect to text which will be white, and give some transition. Here when we hover on it, it become purple color and text color become white. So now we can give some animation to our work component. So firstly we have to import motion from motion/react. Also we have to import use in view from react intersection observer. Now we have to create a constant, so go back to your services component, and here we can copy this, and in our work, and here after our array we can paste it. Now firstly we give some animation to our h2 heading, so convert it to motion.h2, and also its ending motion.h2, and here we can add some properties. Firstly ref will be ref, and for the initial we can set opacity to 0 and we can set y to 100. Now choose animate. If our in view is opacity 1 and y is 0, otherwise we use empty. Now give some transition. First thing, will be a delay. Delay will be 0.3 second, and now set some duration. Duration will be 0.5 seconds. When we refresh it, it coming from upper side. We also want some animation to our paragraph tag, so motion.paragraph, convert it ending point to motion.paragraph, and here we want same animation, so copy this and paste it over here and change the delay to 0.5 seconds. Now refresh it and we add animation to our H2 heading and our paragraph. Now give animation to these boxes. So here we convert this div to motion.div, similarly to the ending motion.div, and here again we use same styling, so paste it, and here change the y to 50, and here we have to change delay to projects.id, and it will be multiplied by 0.2. Now when we refresh it, it taking some time here, so we have to check IDs. Here we have a mistake, remove this one and remove this also. So now when we refresh it, it's now perfect. So now our work component is completed, but the one thing, in our work component we also need this horizontal infinity scrolling. So to create this, here in our component folder create a new file companies.jsx and write here RAFCE. Now in our work component, after this div, we create another div, and inside this div, we import this company's component. And here we go. Now in our company's component, we have to import motion from motion/react. Now here we have to create a array, so constant companies. Now inside this we will write some company's name. So here I add some company's name which we will use in our animation. So inside this div we create another div, and inside this div we create a S2 heading companies I have worked with. Now after this S2 heading we have to create another div. Inside this div we create another div. Now here we write some JavaScript. Now here we will use our arrays. So here after our companies array we have to create another array companies list. So inside this we will write dot 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 companies comma dot companies. Now this will create a longer list by duplicating the companies array, and it will also double the array for smoother looping. So here we use our companies list, and here I mistakenly write the wrong spelling, so companies list. So here we use companies list dot map function. Now inside this we create a arrow function, and inside the arrow function we create a div. Now here we pass some parameter company comma index, and here we pass a attribute key, and in key we use a unique thing which is index, and inside this we use our company. Now after this div we create another div, and inside this div we copy this code and paste it over here, as we need two lists from this side and this side. So our HTML code is complete. Now we need to style it. So here write class name, set the text to white, and padding from y-axis will be 16. Now for this div write class name. It is a container with margin from x-axis is auto and text is center. Now for our h2 heading write class name. The text size will be 3XL, and for medium display text size is 4XL, and the font is bold with the margin from bottom 8. Now here add some class names. We can set overflow to hidden, and the position is relative, and width will be full. Now for our this div class name, we can wrap the white space to now wrap, and it is a flex with the space from our x-axis is done. And for this div, write class name, text size is large, and the background color is gray of 800, and padding from x-axis is 6 with the padding from y-axis is 3, and corners is rounded of full, and it is inline of block. Now for this div, class name overflow to hidden, and position is again relative, and width is full with margin from top is 5. Here write class name. Again we need same styling, so copy this and paste it over here, and here again we need same class names, so we can copy this and paste it over here. So you can see it looking like this, but we want some animation, so to write animation, convert this div to motion.div, and again here motion.div. So now to give animation we have to create a constant, so here we create a constant scroll variance 1, write animate curly braces. Inside this we set extraction to 0, minus 2000, and we need a transition. For transition, first we write extraction and we set repeat, and it will be infinite, and repeat type will be a loop, and set its duration to 15 seconds, and we can set ease to linear. Now again we have to copy this and paste it over here and change the name to variance 2, and for our second line we need opposite direction from the upper one, so we have to just place it like here, like this. Now here in our first motion.div we use variants. In variants we use scroll variant 1, and we can set animate. Now here you can see it is working. Now for the second line we can simply copy these two things, and here we can convert this div to motion.div. Similarly here motion.div, and here we can use same animation. So now it's working, but these both are in same direction, so here use scroll too. Now they are in opposite direction. So now go to work.jsx, and here convert this div to motion.div and change the ending to motion.div, and add some properties here. Add ref to ref, and initially opacity will be 0 with y is 100. Now animate, we use InView. If InView is have opacity 1 and y is 0, otherwise we use empty. Now give some transition, set delay to 0.7 and duration 0.5 seconds. So now refresh it, and this is our hero component, and this is our about component, and this is our services component, and this is our work component, which is looking amazing. So now after the work component we have to create our contact.jsx. So here write RAFCE and go to app.jsx, and here import our contact. Now go back to your contact.jsx file and start writing the code. Firstly, we have to import some things. First will be motion from our motion slash react. Now import use in view. Now we import some icons. Now I have imported some icons from our react icons. Now inside this div we create another div, and inside this div we create a S2 heading. Let's discuss your. Now create a span tag and write a text here project, and here add some class name, set text size to 4 XL, and the font will be bold and the text color is white. Here is our heading, and for the span tag write class name and set text color to purple of 500 like this. Now we have to make it in center, so write here class name, maximum width will be 7 XL, and margin from x-axis is auto, and the padding from x-axis is 4, but for the smaller screen padding from x-axis will be 6, and for our large screen padding from x-axis is 8 with text from center, and the text will be center with padding from y-axis is 12, and here it is. Now here after the S2 heading we create a paragraph tag and write text here. Now add some class names to design it. Set text color to slate of 400 and set margin from top will be 4. Now after this div, create another div. Now inside this div, create another div. Now inside this div, create another div. And inside this div, we use our FA phone icon. Now after this div, create another div. Now inside this div, we have to create a paragraph tag with a text call me. We need one more paragraph tag. Now here write your number. Now we have to give some styling, so right here class name. We can set maximum width to 7 XL and margin is auto from x-axis and padding from x-axis is 4, but for smaller screens padding from x-axis will be 6, and for larger screens padding from x-axis is 8. Margin from top 12. It is a grid with grid colon 1, but for medium display it will be a grid of colon 2, and add some gap here which will be 8. Now for this div write class name, add some space from our y-axis which is 6. Now for this div write class name, add some background of purple color of 500 and padding will be 4 with its rounded corner which will be full, and for this icon write class name. The text color will be white and width is 6 with height 6. Now here it is not looking proper, so after this div we create another div and we have to cut it from here and wrap all the data inside this div. Now for this div write class name. It is a flex with items center and space from x-axis is 4. Now here it is proper. Now for our paragraphs write class name. Text size will be large and font will be medium in thickness. Set text color to purple of 500, and for this write class name. Now text color will be white. Now it is here. Now we need one more element like this, so here copy this div and here we have to paste it. So here now we have two same elements, so we have to change this icon FA envelope and change the text call me email, and here write your email address. Now after these elements we need one more same element, and here the icon will be FA map marker, and here change the text to address, and here you have to write your address, and here is our three things. Now this side we have our contact details, so here we need a form. So after this div we create a form tag. Now inside this form tag we create a div. Inside this div we create a input. Now we give some attributes like type, it is a text, and give it a placeholder full name. We need one more input tag, so here now change the text to email, and for the placeholder we write your email. Now we need one more this type of div, so copy this div and paste it over here. Now change the placeholder to phone number, and here write budget. Now after this div we create a text area. Now we have to give some attributes. First will be a placeholder message, and after the text area we need a button, and the text for button is submit message, and for button we need a attribute type, it is a submit. Now we have to style our form, so here write class name, give it a space from y direction which is 4, and the text will be white. And for this div write class name grid colon 1, and for small screens it will be a grid of colon 2. Give it a gap of 4. And for our inputs write class name, set its a border, and border color will be purple of 500. Give it a background of gray color and of 900. Give some padding 4, and give its corner rounded of medium, and width will be full. Now it's looking good. We need same styling for our second input, so copy it, and here we have to just paste it. Now again we need same styling, so here we can paste it. Similarly for this input we can paste, and similarly here we need some gap like this one, so copy this class name and paste it over here. Now it's good. And for our text area we need again same styling like our inputs, so copy it and paste it over here. And for our button write class name, set its background to purple of 500, and the text color will be white, with padding from x-axis is 6 and padding from y-axis is 3, and the corner will be rounded of medium. Now give it a hover effect, give background of purple 600, give it a transition. Now set some duration will be 200, and this is our button. Now after this contact section, here at the bottom we need a footer, so after this div we create another div, and this will be our form, so here we can write footer, so it will give us an idea. So inside this div create a paragraph tag and write a text here. We need one more paragraph tag and change the text to iron coding. Now after this paragraph tag create another div. Inside this div we wrap our social media links. So here create an anchor tag. Inside this anchor tag we use Facebook icon, as we are adding 4 links, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, and change this icon to Twitter icon. Now the third icon will be LinkedIn icon, and the fourth icon will be Instagram icon. Now our footer structure is complete, and we have to add styling. So here write class name, margin from top is 48, and it is a flex with justify between. Items will be center, and the padding is 5 with text color white. Set its border from top and give it a thickness of 2, and the border color will be purple of 500, and here it is. And for this div write class name, it is a flex with justify center, and space from x-axis is 4, and the text will be white, and margin from top is 4. Now for our links write class name, give it a hover effect, and set a text color to purple of 500. And for our icon write class name and set its width to 6 and height is also 6. Now we need same styling in all the icons, so copy it and paste it over here. And for the icons we need same size, so copy it and paste it over here. So our contact and footer is complete. So go to work.jsx file and here copy this one, and in our contact.jsx at the top here we have to paste that code. So firstly, we will give animation to this h2 heading. So write here motion.h2 and convert this ending to motion.h2. Similarly for paragraph, motion.paragraph and at the ending motion.paragraph. And here write ref. Ref is also ref. Initially our opacity will be 0 and y is minus 100. The next thing is animate. If our in view is opacity 1 comma y 0, otherwise we use empty. Now give it a transition. First thing will be delay. Delay will be 0.3 seconds and set the duration 0.5 seconds. And now copy it as we want same animation in our paragraph. So paste that animation here. So now check it and refresh it. It's coming from top. Now we need some animation for these three things. So here for this div motion.div. Similarly at its ending motion.div. Now first of all copy this animation and paste it over here, and here we need x direction and it will be minus 50, and here also x not y, and here decrease the delay to 0.2 seconds. Now copy it, and for the this one convert this div motion.div. Similarly at ending motion.div and paste that animation here and change the delay to 0.4 seconds. Now refresh it. Now it's coming like this. Now here motion.div. Similarly at ending motion.div and paste that animation here and change the delay to 0.6 seconds. Now refresh it and it's looking amazing. Now for our form, so firstly change this form to motion.form. Similarly at its ending motion.form. Now here also paste that animation and change the x direction to 50 and increase the delay to 0.8 seconds. Now refresh it and it's good. Now for our footer, so change the div to motion.div. Similarly here motion.div, and here paste that animation which we have using in all the sections. So here we don't need any direction, so remove these x directions, and here we can increase the delay to 1 second. So now refresh it, and also we can add some animation for this submit button. So here convert this button to motion dot button. Similarly at ending motion dot button, and here we need a hover effect. So right here while hover the scale will be 1.05. Now right here while tab, so while tab scale will be 0.95. Now go to our contact section. So here you can see the zoom effect. So now our all the components is completed and our website is complete, but the one thing is left. When we click on this about, services or work or contact, we have to scroll down to that component. So for this we can use react scroll. So search here react scroll. So click here and copy this command, and in terminal right click, open in terminal and paste this command and press enter. Now our react scroll is installed in our project. So go to Navbar. Now here we have to import link from react scrolls. Now in our array we have to mention the path where we want to go by clicking on these menus. So here write to. For our about section I am adding about, and similarly write here to, and here services, similarly here work, and for the contact. Now here in our map function inside our li we will use our link tag. Inside this link tag we render our text, so here it is. And in our link tag we will pass some attributes. First will be to, which is 2, and here 2. Now the second attribute is smooth. Smooth will be true, and the third attribute is duration. Duration will be 500, and set offset to -70. Now copy this link tag, and for our mobile screen menu here we have to render that link tag. And here inside the map function we have to mention the parameter 2. Now in every component we have to mention these IDs. So go to about.jsx, and here inside this div ID about. Now similarly go to services, and here give ID services, and for our work.jsx here give ID work, and the last will be our contact. Here give ID contact. So now when we click on about, we scroll to our about component, and when we click on our service component we will scroll down to services. Similarly for work component, and the last contact. And for our mobile screens, when we click on our about component it will scroll down to about component, and when we click on services it scroll down to services, and when we click on work component it scroll down to work component, and when we click on contact component it scroll down to contact component. When we click on hire me button we scroll down to contact component, and when we click on my story we will scroll down to our about component. So for this go to hero component. Here firstly import the link from React scrolls, and here for our first button wrap this hire me inside the link button, and write some attributes. First attribute will be to. We have to go to contact component, so write the ID of that component, and the next attribute is smooth, which is true, and duration 500, and set offset -70. Now copy this and set it for our second button, and here change the text my story, and change this ID to about, and here our border spelling is wrong, so write it as border. Now it's set. When we click on hire me it scroll down to contact component, and when we click on my story we scroll down to our about component. And that's it guys, we have successfully built our animated portfolio website using React, Tailwind CSS and Framer Motion. I hope you found this tutorial helpful and learning something new. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Also drop a comment below with your thoughts or any question, and subscribe for more exciting content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy coding!